In Massachusetts, new Vue Communities is helping more people become homeowners with real education, real support, and real protection. We believe safe, stable housing should be within reach for every family. This is your pathway to owning a home. And new Vue Communities is here to guide you every step of the way.
So hello, how are you? Pleasure to see you guys again. Brenda and of course Madeline. It's always a pleasure to collaborate and work with you guys. We're going to be doing a short video just to introduce more people to your program and kind of educate them about what programs you have available in the community and how they can really take advantage of these, especially right now with a lot of uncertainty of housing and planning and lending. So let's start with you, Brenda, really quickly. So what is your title and what do you do at New View Communities?
Okay, so I'm a senior housing counselor. I've been there for quite some time, but I do help people that have the vision of buying a house, but they don't have the credit or the saving or they're just scared. So I would be with them. We can talk with them and come up with a budget. We do an action plan. And I become their accountability partner.
Great.
And I also try to work with them because a lot of times it's their behaviors. A lot of their behavior things to help with that to address it. We've had success in doing this because they feel better after they do. Because now they know a little bit more.
Sure. So you're kind of helping them kind of develop a plan, right? And kind of figuring out next steps.
Yeah.
Well, what do you find is the biggest thing that people are afraid of? Because I find that people are afraid oftentimes just because they don't have enough information.
That is
right?
true.
So
They're feared. They have no. In my case, I find people coming to us because they don't have no savings. They have no money. Or their credit score is not where it's at. I get a lot of those. And again, I can get some people that are afraid they just don't know how. The education is key. Because if they learn this, they're more likely to move forward in maybe having that dream home that they want.
absolutely. Are you working with a lot of people kind of going through the same kind of challenges? What are you seeing on your side?
So I'm Madeline, the Director of Housing and Financial Services Programs. So Brenda focuses more on financial coaching, and then I do pre-purchase counseling. So for folks that have created a budget worksheet with Brenda already and they are moving on to the path of homeownership, I provide them with like a mortgage readiness assessment, determine their affordability because they think that they can afford X amount of dollars, but in reality, so I'm there to give them the truth. Based off your income and your current debt, this is how much you really can afford.
Which is a great thing, right? Because we saw it, and I don't want to repeat like things that happened in the past. Sometimes we have to look at the past to learn, right?
Yeah.
It's like in 2007, 2008, the housing crisis that occurred, oftentimes people were buying homes more than they can afford.
Yes.
And then the reality hit that, oh, wow, I'm in a rough situation. And thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people lost their homes, right? So we obviously don't want that to repeat. So that's why these services are so vital, right?
Yes.
So on the financial planning side, you're kind of helping them kind of like figure out the initial steps, which is really figuring out where the money's at, how are you distributing your money to take care of your current finances, and then figuring out where that all that extra budget is to help you really plan for buying.
Yes.
Right? And then once they've kind of gone through that process and you've kind of got them back on track, that's where they kind of come to you.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
Yes. Could I interject
Yes, please,
a little bit?
absolutely.
So she'll then teach them the first time home buyer class. So it's a great program to have. A lot of times when you take this program, there's some funding sources or some lenders that have down payment assistance because of it.
Okay.
And the certificate does last 2 years, which is a good thing. Because some people are not ready to buy tomorrow.
Yeah.
And at least they could see and vision themselves in 2 years to buying a house.
So walk me through that a little bit more. So is this after they've completed that initial training and certification that they now have a certificate that they can use as like a down payment? Walk me through how that works.
She probably can tell you a little bit more.
Yeah, please.
So right now the Vue is holding virtual homebuyer education classes. So if someone is interested in either of the two-state programs, which is the mass housing or the MHP one, they could take a certified homebuyer education class. And through our agency, they will receive that certificate. It's basically opening doors for them. And then they have to work with a participating lender. that offers those programs. So Mass Housing offers down payment and closing cost assistance between 25,000 and 30,000. MHP, they actually have some changes and they are offering down payment assistance up to 50,000 depending on the communities that the person lives in. So there are qualifications, there's credit requirements, there's also income requirements. Folks can not earn more than a certain amount. And the qualifications are all on their website.
Okay. Now, to kind of clarify a little bit more about the funds that are available, you said $25,000 to $30,000, and another one up to 50,000. Can those be combined?
No.
So they're independent programs, right? What's the difference between one versus the other?
So one actually has higher income limits.
And which one's that one?
Mass Housing.
And how much is that one was for? I guess.
That was 25 or 30.
Okay.
So if you're in the higher income bracket, you can get access to up to 25,000.
Okay.
And it's not a grant, it's a loan. But it allows you to access $25,000 right up front, and not have to use all of your money. And it's a way for folks to really have access to housing.
So it's a loan replacing their initial down payment, basically,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
So they're still paying it back, but it's filling that gap that otherwise they wouldn't have that money due, right?
Correct.
Interesting. Okay.
And the interest rate for that, so if they pay it over 15 years. So if someone earns below 60% area median income, they can access the 30,000, and that was actually deferred until they sell or refinance. The higher income bracket.
Oh wait, so I'm sorry to interrupt. So after they sell the house, you're saying they don't have to pay that back, and then they would use essentially the capital gains from that sale of the property to pay that back?
So once they sell or refinance, they would have to pay the $30,000 that they initially bought.
Which was basically free money.
Yes.
Wow, that's not a bad deal.
And for folks that have like a higher income bracket, then they can access $25,000, which is payable over 15 years. So you either get a 2% interest on that 15-year loan or a 3% interest. So the 3% interest are for the higher income.
So for viewers that are watching this, what would be the difference between one program that is like a medium average versus one that's considered higher? Like, how would we make that determination?
So, the way the counseling at Vue works, we would determine, based off the calculations. Some folks don't know how to calculate their income. So we would do those calculations at the office. We actually do virtual sessions or in-person sessions at our Pittsburgh office, and it's a little bit complicated for one individual to do all this on their own, and that's why the counseling is really important. And the counseling, pre-purchase counseling, financial coaching, there is no added cost. So why not use the services?
No, absolutely.
And we're both HUD certified.
Yeah.
Which is a perk.
So what is that? What is HUD?
It's housing, urban, and development.
Yep.
So for any agency to offer any counseling services regarding pre-purchase, you need to have a HUD certified counselor on staff. So both Brenda and I are HUD certified counselors. We've been doing the work for more than 15 years. Our main focus is North Central Mass. The agency serves from Athol to Harvard, 22 communities. But our office is located in Fitchburg. But we don't turn anyone away. So if anyone throughout the state of Mass is looking to buy, they can just reach out to us, and then we'll be able to
That's amazing. So oftentimes I find that people only look for these resources when they're in the middle of a crisis and they're like in need of emergency assistance. In this case, it's a little bit different because these are people that are actually in the process of like changing something in their life, and which is home ownership, which is the biggest, most gratifying thing for many people, right? So what would you say is like the number one thing that people really need to do if they're really in the planning stages of buying their first home? They've already started taking proactive steps of repairing their credit. They've already put in some money down or saving some money for planning their next home. What would be the next strategy that you would recommend for them to really make that next step?
I guess take the first time home buyer class.
That's a good solution.
It really is. And then meet with Madeline for that pre-purchase counseling. And what's nice is we have resources, we have people, we have realtors names, our lenders, trusted people that you can meet face to face, not just over the phone. And she would then refer you to a person that could maybe get you qualified.
I love that. Now, during the first-time homebuyer class, what is it exactly that the homeowners are going to learn, or the people that are in the process of buying?
So there is a lot of information that home buyers will learn. So we actually have, it's a series of 3 classes, and they're normally taught once a month in the evening. And then, so folks will hear from a realtor, a lender, an attorney, a home inspector, as an insurance agent, and also the 2 programs for the state of Mass, which is Mass Housing and then MHP. We do have representatives that come to the class virtually and present on those programs.
Amazing. The last few things I want to kind of touch on is a little bit of a problem that's going on right now, which people are really excited to buy their first homes. They're getting settled into their first homes. Now they're in the process of making improvements to their home, right? And we're running into situations where it's kind of like they're restarting over this process of research. And they're signing contracts with companies that they haven't really done their due diligence on, and they're ending up in really rough situations. What resources are you currently offering that can help protect homeowners in those types of situations that are in the process of hiring their contractors for the first time, and they just want to make sure they're making informed decisions?
That's more post-purchase.
Yeah.
I think, Madeline, you know more about that than I do.
Yeah, so what we do is we offer reviewment of contracts if needed. For folks that we don't just do the beginning stage. We're here throughout the whole process. So even homeowners, they reach out to us. Is refinance a good option? I'm looking to do some work in my house. What are the different options available? And then if there's difficulties understanding certain contracts, we would offer that service at no cost.
So this is actually a full wraparound service.
Yeah.
So a lot of people don't realize that, like, when you're attending like these types of home buyer workshops, a lot of businesses that provide these workshops, it's solely a marketing tool for you to get in and buy a house. But then that service kind of ends there. And what you've ultimately done is you've provided the nonprofit a free resource to all homeowners that are interested in participating, so that they can learn pretty much what it's like to buy a home, find lending, fix your credit, get your finances in order. I also know that you do foreclosure prevention classes, right?
I was going to say that.
So,
not so much classes, but thank you for mentioning that. That's another thing we do. You buy a house, then maybe 2 years down the line, there's a crisis, you're behind on your mortgage. We also help with that assistance. What we do is they'll meet with me, and we'll talk to their lenders to see what options are there for them to stay with their home. Or in some cases, they may want to sell their home, whatever they want. But at least we're there to support them and help them in the process to avoid the foreclosure if that's what they want. And that's awesome. And that's how I got hired years ago because of that crisis.
Interesting. Tell me more about that story.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, let's do it.
That story, if you really wanted to start, I moved here. My neighbor was a friend of mine, and I literally asked her if she was looking for somebody to hire. And sure enough, she told me, Brenda, there is a position. Why don't you try it? And I went. I got interviewed. And when I got interviewed, they kept asking me, how are you going to stop the foreclosure prices? This was back in 2007 when it was happening. Mm-hmm. And I said to them, they were asking these questions. In reality, I was into this whole thing. I had no idea. I just knew that if I took the position, I would learn as much as I could to help. And I remember initially, I wanted to know so much because I really wanted to help people that were so behind. They were getting those jumbo loans where people that she was just a waitress. Yeah. And how are you going to pay so much money for a mortgage? They were being foreclosed and they just moved in 2 months ago. Mm-hmm. Because oh my gosh. The other thing I have to say, lenders at that time were not easy to work with. They wanted their money. I have seen lenders coming up with better programs to help homeowners now when they're behind. versus years ago they wasn't.
Well, they had to in 2012 rewrite the whole
Yes.
lending because it got out of control.
Which is why we now had to take a
Yeah.
test to become a certified counselor.
Interesting. So that's what
Because of that.
influenced that program.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, and I've shared with you, and you kind of know my story a little bit from my mother. But that's one of the reasons how I got into all of this work was through my mother's story of going through that initial foreclosure. She didn't lose the house, but I had 5 jobs in high school and college. She wouldn't lose the house, right? And it was a major battle with the banks to get her back on track. And it's what's influenced a lot of the work that we do through our nonprofit. And there, so the work that we're actively doing truly does change people's lives if they take advantage of these programs. And there. Now, how can people learn more and get involved?
Get involved, in other words, to me with me or Madeline.
Yeah.
They would just have to call us. Our number is 212-288-0210.
Make sure you write that down.
Yes.
978.
Wait, 978. Am I correct?
Write down the other one. Write down the other one.
Isn't it 978? Oh my God, it's so funny. 978-288-0210. So my apologies. And there's also an email that you could write to us. It's relief@nvcomm.org that you can send reach out to us.
And also the office is open Monday through Thursday from 9:30 to 4:30. So if someone is local, they can.
So you accept walk-ins?
Yes.
On there? That's awesome.
Yes.
And just on a high note, what is something that's exciting that you guys have recently accomplished within your organization you guys want to share?
The earmark? Well, that's different, right? Yeah, we were able to get some funding sources through Leonard Housing for Leominster. And we were able to help a lot of people that were behind on their rents or they needed help for moving, which was a little different than other resources that are out there. We have more leverage in helping people. And what's nice about the program, we were able to help. There's one example that I'm thinking about, this elderly lady that was behind on her rent. We were able to help her because she was going to get evicted. And she knew that the housing where she was at was too expensive. So I did encourage her, yes, now you're current, but you should consider moving. And now she's in the process of moving, hopefully to FHC, one of the developments that Vue.
Oh, amazing. Yes. I love that story.
I love it too.
Oh, yeah, we actually had our ribbon cutting.
That was another one too.
Wow.
For Pittsburgh Arts Community. And it's a total of 68 units. Artist preference housing in Pittsburgh, right on Academy Street in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
So we just had a ribbon cutting. We had a great turnout.
We have almost 200 people plus.
Congratulations.
More access to housing for folks that need it. Housing continues to be a big issue. Access to affordable housing continues to be a big issue.
Actually, this interview might go a little longer because we're hitting some hot buttons here. So just this last thing, I promise. But you just hit the housing button. But it's like, I'm concerned with the whole housing thing because there's this whole narrative of how banks are buying these houses to force prices up. And it's almost like...
I see it.
Yeah, and it's pretty crazy. Like, what do you tell people when you see a market like that?
So the problem is with private landlords, they're pretty much, they can do that. Oh, increase the rent from $500 by $500, make it unaffordable, and the person is basically forced to move.
Right.
And they brought it up, and private landlords can do that. I mean, Vue has kept the rents at a steady pace.
Yes.
And it's more affordable than many properties in this area.
Yep.
Do you guys have units available right now?
That's more for the management office. Okay. Because I know that they were trying to occupy the 68 units that were just recently done. So, and I know that there was only like 2 vacancies left.
Wow.
So beautiful.
So it's exciting.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful.
Well, congratulations. I love all the work that you guys are doing. I'm really looking forward to collaborating with you guys even further now that we're getting ready to launch this new program. And I'm excited for the future. So thank you for joining me on this interview. It was an absolute pleasure. And congratulations.
Thank you.
And we're here at the Housing Summit, the first one here in Fitchburg. So next year, if you guys are around, come and join us. But it's going to get bigger. It's going to get better. And thank the DJ. He's playing his music, so I hope you guys enjoyed the music in the background. But thank you everyone for tuning in. It was an absolute